Biz Bees. Today we are back with another chapter in our My Weird School series. Book 9, Miss Lazar is Bizarre by Dan Gutman. But before we get into our chapter of the day, we are going to get into our riddle of the day. And the riddle of the day is, where would you take a sick boat? And I'll tell you again, where would you take a sick boat? And I will give you the answer to our riddle at the end of our chapter. So let's pop open the book and fly through this adventure together. So last week we finished off on chapter 1 when AJ decided that he needed some time away from the classroom and he needed to go to the restroom, but something crazy happened in the restroom because he didn't even use the restroom, but the restroom began to overflow. So they had to call Miss Lazar, and we don't know who she is just yet. Chapter 2, Miss Lazar to the rescue. Now the water was sliding under the boys' room door and into the hallway. The whole school was going to be flooded. For a second or two, I thought, this is great. If the school flooded, we would get to go home. Maybe the erupting toilet volcano wasn't such a bad thing after all. Did you put something down the toilet, AJ? Mr. Klutz asked me. No, I said. I just flushed it and I never got the chance to finish my sentence because at that very moment there was an ear-piercing shriek of a whistle and it sounded like a lawnmower was coming down the hallway. It was Miss Lazar, our school custodian. She was riding her motorized scooter. Miss Lazar was wearing her big blue overalls with the letters SC on the front. She carried one of those toilet plunger thingies with a suction cup out on the end. My parents have one at home just like it. Miss Lazar on the scooter screeched to a stop right in front of us. Have no fear, students. It is I, Super Custodian, said Miss Lazar as she hopped off the scooter. What happened? AJ had a bathroom emergency, said Andrea Young, this really annoying girl in my class with curly brown hair who I hate. I did not, I said. You got here just in time, Miss Lazar, said Mr. Klutz. The toilet must have backed up. Mr. Klutz totally didn't know what he was talking about. The toilet didn't back up. It didn't move an inch. This looks like a job for Super Custodian, said Miss Lazar. What a mess, Andrea said. AJ made a big mess. The messier the better, said Miss Lazar. I love messes. You do? I asked. Why? If kids didn't make any messes, I wouldn't have a job, said Miss Lazar. So make all the messes you want. In fact, I wish you kids would throw more garbage on the floor. I don't have enough to clean up. So nah, boo-boo on Andrea. Stand aside, students, said Miss Lazar. Super Custodian is here to save the day. Anytime finger paint is spilled, or somebody loses a retainer in the garbage can, or a child throws up, I'm at your service too. Can you just clean up the mess, please? Asked Mr. Klutz. You can count on me, Miss Lazar said. She put on these gigantic yellow plastic gloves and pushed open the boys' room door. It looked like a lake in there. Miss Daisy told us we should go back to our classroom. But before we could make a move, we heard Miss Lazar's voice. Aha! She shouted. Here's the problem. Miss Lazar came back out of the bathroom with something in her hand. Crayons, she said. Somebody stuffed a bunch of crayons down the toilet. Mr. Klutz and Miss Daisy looked at me like I was the one who stuffed the crayons down the toilet. I didn't. I really didn't. Why would I do a dumb thing like that? From the hallway, we could see the water was starting to go down the drain in the bathroom floor. The toilet wasn't overflowing anymore. Wow, you did it, Miss Lazar, said Andrea. What a brown-noser. Miss Lazar saved the day, said Andrea's crybaby friend, Emily. Everybody started cheering and clapping their hands. Miss Lazar took a bow. Principal Klutz is like the king of the school, but Miss Lazar is like a real living superhero. Anytime something goes wrong anywhere in the school, she is the person to call. Miss Lazar can clean up any mess and fix anything that breaks. She's the only one in the whole school who can turn the lights on and off when we have an assembly, because she has a special key. She can solve just about any problem in the world. It was nothing really, said Miss Lazar, taking off her yellow gloves. Anybody could have. She never got the chance to finish her sentence because at that very moment her walkie-talkie beeped. Miss Lazar, said the voice in the walkie-talkie, we have an emergency in Mr. Docker's science room. Until we meet again, said Miss Lazar as she hopped back on her scooter. Duty calls! And then she roared down the hallway. Me and Michael and Ryan started giggling because Miss Lazar said duty, and the word duty sounds exactly the same as the word duty. It's okay to say duty, but you're not supposed to say duty. So every time anybody says duty, I can't help but think of duty, and I have to start giggling. Duty sounds way too much like duty, if you ask me. Those two things should definitely have two different words, don't you think? And that is the end of our chapter for the day. Oh my gosh, so much just happened. And Miss Lazar sounds pretty cool, but we did find out who she was. She's a custodian. Okay, and I'm excited to see what the next chapter has in store. All right, so let's get to our riddle of the day. So the riddle of the day was, where would you take a sick boat? And the answer is, drum roll please, to the dock. Do you get it? To the dock. It almost sounds like to the doctor, right? Because when we're sick, we go to the doctor. But to the dock, how they spelled it was DOCK, and that's where you dock a boat. So they almost have the same spelling, just like duty and duty. If you like this video, give it a like. And if you'd like to follow along for more adventures, hit that subscribe button. And I will see you on the next one.